Welcome to Revelations Through Language, the channel where we look into the deeper meanings behind the phrase and words that we use today through the lens of faith. Come with me as we embark on a journey to discover the truth. Hi all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode, another revelation. So this is actually the first one that I've recorded in 2024. So I posted one last week, but that was pre-recorded. So this is my first recording of 2024. So happy new year to everyone. It's a bit late in the year to start saying that, but I'll say that anyway. And today's revelation anyway was something that I started talking about with a few people towards the back end of 2023. And it's something that I kept in mind since and probably will for the rest of my life. And it's something that I wanted to share in the new year with everyone to also keep in mind. And this episode, anyway, will all be around being grateful and being cognizant of the most obvious miracle of all that God has performed. And that miracle is life itself, or being alive. Something so obvious, but something that most of us take on a day to day for granted. And this conversation, anyway, or this revelation, stemmed from a conversation I had with my colleague at work, Henry. So Henry's one of my colleagues who works on the same team as me, and I always talk about my faith. It's the thing I talk about the most. I can't help but always want to share it with others. And Henry always asks me questions. So I was talking to Henry recently, and this is where the revelation stemmed from. And I was telling Henry, oh, I've started, reading the Bible from the beginning, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, so from the front to the back. And he asked me, oh, I've heard the Old Testament is a hard read. What's the most important thing that you've learned so far? And at the time, I hadn't formulated an answer, so I had to think on the spot a little bit. And then that's when it made me realize that, like the Israelites in the Old Testament, God performed all these miracles and wonders and signs in front of them, but they would always drift away from His word. They wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't walk in the ways that He instructed them to go. And the same thing happens today. And so I realized that the most obvious miracle of all being life itself, the most obvious sign and wonder that God performs every day, all of us, every night we go to sleep, but we don't get to number the days. We don't get to decide whether we're going to wake up to see another day. But by some miracle, because something that's out of our control, we wake up every day. So every day that we wake up and we have breath, it's a miracle because we don't get to decide whether we do wake up or not. So just being appreciative or being grateful for that miracle itself and being cognizant of it gives you a completely different appreciation to life. So rather than waiting for days to be special, every day becomes special. So rather than waiting for New Year's Eve or Christmas Day or Easter or a holiday, anything else, it makes you start appreciating every day that you get instead. Because every day that you get, you don't get to decide, but by some miracle, you wake up every day. And what really gives you that appreciation is the message of the Christian story itself, anyway, is the biggest miracle of all. So life itself is the most obvious, but the actual biggest miracle of all is Jesus Christ Himself dying for you. So you putting your faith in Him and you accepting Him into your heart, it changes your perspective, which gives you the appreciation of things like the miracle of being able to wake up every day and having Him in your heart. It gives you a completely different appreciation. And accepting Christ and accepting grace and living the Christian life, the best depiction of the Christian life, we can go to Paul, the Apostle Paul, in Philippians 4:12 to 13, which reads, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, or he who gives me strength. And what that means is no matter what situations we go through, whether good or bad, having the love of Christ in your heart will make changes your outlook completely. So whether it's in a good or bad situation, because of the love of Christ in your heart, it gives you complete appreciation for everything, complete gratitude, which then makes every situation seems pale into insignificance, really, in comparison to the grace and the love that you have in Christ. And what that love does is it makes every day special rather than waiting for days to become special. And how I describe it to people when I talk about the feeling is it's like waking up every day and feeling like you've won, you've got a winning lottery ticket, and having that. Yeah, keeping that in mind and realizing that changes how you live completely. So I pray for you all to find that same joy, that same gratitude in Him, and realize that every day is a gift. So keep your eyes on what's most important. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. In the meantime, check out some of my other deep dives. Until the next one, God bless.